So for our practice today, I do have a blanket available. That's always just nice to have a blanket and or beach towel or a couple, just depending. Sometimes that earth feels a little bit hard. And then I have some blocks handy as well. Not totally necessary, but again, just something nice to have, a prop to bring the earth up to us if we need so. What I was saying just a moment ago is I'd like to focus today really on just a good flow. Somebody was asking me in my class one day this week what I do for my typical morning practice. And for my typical morning practice, I blast some music, not typically what you would think for a yoga instructor or for myself. I listen to a lot of Tool. And so I will put some good music on and I'll just flow to it. And so today I just wanted to kind of share that with you where we're just going to find a lot of circular movements, just a lot of fun. And what I wanted to talk about just a little bit was curiosity. And there's a lot of things in yoga or in life that's not accessible to everybody. May it be your flexibility, may it be where your strengths are, may it be from past injuries, whatever it might be that makes something not accessible to you. But curiosity is something that is accessible to everybody. So I'm encouraging throughout your practice off the mat, just wherever you are in life, to add a little bit of curiosity into that, to curiosity into exploration. So just maybe enjoying a few moments and maybe asking, hey, being curious about the breath and curious about these postures and these movements and seeing if maybe you can challenge yourself a little bit more, or maybe if you're like, hey, my body's responding to this, or that's not for me. And then just asking your internal questions of like, why is that? Is that resistance because I said I never liked to do this pose before? Or is it resistance because of the body saying that one's not for me, my hips don't enjoy that? So just a million things that we can be curious about. So that's my little soapbox invitation to you, is to find some curiosity throughout the entirety of this practice, and then let me know like what you're discovering through it, because I just want this to be fun for you. Yoga can be so much fun, and it's fun when we can explore. So let's go ahead and get settled into our practice. You can come into a comfortable seated position. We're not going to be here super long. You can always use that blanket to pad up the bottom if you'd like to and tilt that pelvis forward. Or you could just find that comfortable seat, whether your legs are folded or out long. And we'll just close the eyes down. Maybe tip back just slightly so that you can really feel that spine nice and erect. And hands can be down on the lap, or they can be faced up towards the sky in a state of receiving. So down is a state of grounding, and raising up is a state of receiving. And right away, we'll touch in with that curiosity. Just being a little curious about where the breath is traveling in the body. And asking yourself questions of how is the body feeling? Are there specific reasons why the body is feeling that way? And just being curious, if we slow the breath down, how the body responds, how the mind responds. Together, let's take a nice deep inhale in and an exhale to welcome ourselves to our practice. Let it all go. Again, inhaling in. Exhale, sigh it out and release and let it go. And keeping the eyes shut down, I'm just going to invite a little gentle sway in the body. So nothing too dramatic. Just starting to do a little exploration. Imagining as if you were those tall grasses blowing in a gentle wind, not that crazy wind we've been having lately, but just a gentle wind. And maybe we start to pick that up a little bit with bringing the shoulders around and involving a little bit more of the torso. I really encourage you to keep the eyes shut down. Let's put the gavel down, no judgment throughout this practice of how you're moving. We're just enjoying the movement. Creating a little bit bigger circles or sways or rocking. Just spending a few more moments here, checking in. And when we're ready, we're just going to shift back to that tall seat. Bring the shoulders up towards the ears and really dramatically release and let them go. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale, draw the shoulders up. Exhale, let it go. Again, shrug them up, squeeze for a moment. Exhale, sigh it out, let it go. 2 more times. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, release. 1 more time. Inhaling up. Exhale, let it go. Beautiful. Inhale, fingertips raise up, gaze follows fingertips. Exhale, right hand comes down to the earth. Left hand stretches and reaches overhead. So we're just going to gently come across the entire body, roll over to that other side, planting that opposite hand down as that upper hand reaches across. Not staying here for super long. We're going to bring that body and that chest forward, roll all the way around and come to that other side. Let's do that a few more times, moving in a pace throughout this time and throughout all of your practice today in a pace that works for you. Rolling forward, opening out. Just a few more. Getting into side body. And when we're ready, we're going to float those hands all the way back up skyward. Go ahead and interlace the fingertips. Reach those hands up. Squeeze everything again into center. And then release. Let the hands rainbow down to the side. Coming around into a kneeling position, we can use that blanket. We'll keep those blocks handy and nearby, whatever props that you have. Coming into this kneeling position, let's stack those knees right underneath the hips. We're going to bring those arms back up high towards the sky, and then we're just going to find that twist of bringing one arm back, inhaling up, and then the other arm back. So this is just kind of the foundation of where we're going, but I'm going to ask you just to find a little bit of fun and play here. So that could mean swaying the arms, kind of swimming through the sky, maybe twisting a little bit more side to side, maybe bringing that bottom down towards the heels. Just spending several moments here, opening up the body a little bit more, finding that inner dancer, and just enjoying the flow and movement. And if it's just feeling just perfect just to continue with those twists that I offered at the beginning, you can always return to those. And when we're ready, we'll meet back again into this kneeling position, rolling shoulders up towards the ears, and relaxing them down. Let's do that again. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, roll them down and let them go. I'm going to take that right foot and I'm going to step it out so that I am lining up that foot with that front knee. So I'm lining up that right foot, knee is bent. So think of this as a warrior two in a kneeling position. So we're not going into our gate just yet. We are going to go there, but for right now, we're in this kneeling warrior two. Take the hands out into this wide T. And then once again, we're just going to explore here, bending into that knee, opening the arm, moving in ways that feel good. Same thing as what we were just doing in that kneeling flag pose, but now we're starting to get into that inner groin area, inviting some movement there into this lateral kind of knee bends. And once again, just exploring, maybe like an extended side angle or a reverse warrior. And just a few more moments. And when we're ready, we'll go ahead and come into that traditional kneeling warrior posture where the arms are out in this wide T. That knee is bent at a 90-degree angle, and we're just going to gaze over the front fingertips. So those right fingertips, arms are parallel with each other, and take a few moments to breathe here. Turn the palms up towards the sky, bring the hands above the head, and then gentle them into heart center. We're going to take that foot that is bent, and I'm going to put the blocks alongside both the legs, but that bent knee, just going to straighten it now, coming into a gate pose. So a couple options with this foot. We can keep that heel onto the earth with the toe flexed up skyward. If that doesn't feel comfortable, we can just set that foot down so that knife edge is towards the front of the mat, or whichever which way you're facing. So we can either have the foot upwards or have it down, have the entire foot onto the earth. And then we're just going to go into a little gate flow. I'm going to keep my blocks one towards that extended leg and one towards that hip that's bent. So inhale, coming up. Exhale, you may not even land on the blocks. We're just going to find this extension over and then float to that extended leg. So getting into this side body a little bit more as we rock back and forth. And this could be a spot that you'd like to stay in for a couple breaths, or you can continue to find that flow and move. And then go ahead and come back up tall, arms are raised up, bringing that right hand down to the leg or that block. We're just going to hold here for just a moment and then just kind of shift up and roll back over again. So coming up kind of halfway and then reach and stretch a little bit more. So we're starting to get into that front hip flexor and that psoas area a little bit more as we reach and rise. Reach and raise. One more time, reach and raise back up. Floating that hand down onto the block or the earth, depending on where you're at today. We're going to take that left hand or right hand up, stack the shoulders here for a moment, and then bring that overhead. Feel this connection and the stretch from the fingertips all the way down the side body to the foot that's planted on the earth. Roll the heart open and take a few breaths. Make sure that we're not crashing down into that blocker earth. That's keeping us up tall. And then we're going to do a little addition here. It's entirely up to you. You might want to just stay here or keep flowing. I'm going to bring that right leg up towards the sky. So think of this as a modified side plank. And then a little more of a challenge, bring that elbow and knee in towards center, extend long. Inhale, bring them in towards center, hold, hover, extend long. One more time, bring it into center, hold, hover here, flex that foot, hold, breathe, extend long. Plant the foot back down onto the earth. Use the momentum of that upper arm to raise all the way back up, bringing that knee down to earth, big toes to touch, knees nice and wide. Let's just sink down for a few breaths into child's pose. And we do not need to land here. It might feel kind of good to get a little shift in the hips, a little side to side, or some rollouts in the back. And when we're ready, we'll place the palms down on the earth and come back up again. So once again, we're going to come into that kneeling position for a moment, setting up for that warrior two again on that opposite side. So now that opposite foot, the knee is bent, the heel is lining up with that right knee. Hands come out, and then we're just going to do that little shift and shimmy again, that little dance back and forth, opening up into the groin, stretching into the knee area. I'm going to think of this as a little bit of a side lunge, a kneeling side lunge. It's a lot of things. It can be a kneeling warrior two, a kneeling reverse warrior, extended side angle, yogi's choice. Just having fun here. Discovering how the side differs, where we're feeling it a little bit more, what the body's craving. And when we're ready, let's go ahead and come into that traditional kneeling warrior two. We'll do all those check-ins. Make sure that knee is pressing towards the pinky toe side. Gaze is over the front left finger now. Shoulders are stacked, breath is fluid. Turn the palms up towards the sky, hands can come above the head, and then gentle into heart. Now we'll set up for our gate pose on this side. Again, we can try out. We can either have the toes, my block isn't blocking, toes can face up towards the sky, or we can turn that foot towards the long edge of the mat, or whichever way you're facing, and have that foot down. And this side may be different than the other side. We are not usually symmetrical on both sides. And we're gonna find that gate flow once again. So just shifting back and forth at your own pace, utilizing props, or maybe just going free flow. A couple more stretches into side body here. And the next time that we come over to that left side, hand can be onto the leg or onto block. We're going to reach and stretch that right hand across the body and then come back up. Again, reach and rise. Inhale, reach over a little bit more. Exhale up. One more time. Reach, hold for a moment. And then back up. Left hand or right hand floats down to that block. We're going to take that left hand, reach and stretch here now. Option, you can stay in this long stretch, connecting the hand all the way down to that foot that's on the earth, or we can bring that leg up to the side. So kind of a modified plank, side plank here. Option to stay here, or we drive that knee and elbow into center, hold, extend. Again, inhale in, exhale wide. Inhale in, hold here, breathe, extend long. Plant the foot down onto the earth, swim that arm around, bring the knees to touch. You can come down into a closed knee or a wide knee, child's pose, whatever feels good to take a few moments. Resetting the spine and taking a couple recovery breaths. Go ahead and come back up. Coming into our tabletop position, I'm just going to walk these blocks off to the side. You can still use that blanket to pad up the knees if you'd like. Stacking wrists right underneath the shoulders. Let's go right away into a few rounds of cat-cow. Tucking that tailbone in, rounding the chin towards the chest, pressing into the earth, and sending those hips back, little belly drop. Just a few more rounds. Meeting me in that neutral tabletop position, walk the knees as wide as the yoga mat. We're going to send the hips over towards that right side of the mat. Shift the belly across and come over to the left. So just a few of these barrel rolls, really getting down into the hips. And the next time that we come up, let's switch directions. Coming over to that other side and rolling back up through. Come on back up to that tabletop position. Walk the knees back underneath the hips. And then we're just gonna work into the wrists a tiny bit here. So option one is to turn the palms, both palms, facing towards the knees. And you can just stay right here, or you can start to find that little rocking movement. If that is too intense to have both hands turned towards the body, you can turn them out to the side a little bit, or you can even work into one palm at a time. Another option that I like is to kind of just find a little circle here. So you can just tick-tock the hands around, just feeling into this nice wrist stretch. And I really do spend a lot of time, especially in my morning practice, getting into the wrists, because I know I have a lot to do between work, between writing, between teaching classes. So I do really give a lot of time into my wrists, especially in the morning. So hopefully you're finding a space where you can explore that's working for you. If you're just working into one hand, go ahead and switch to that other. And then we're just going to turn the wrists so now that the tops of the hands are down onto the earth. It might just be where you're on your fists and finding this little rocking movement. Or you can turn the hand down, and you can do that same thing of just kind of exploring, of walking the hands into circles. We do not have to stay in one space, especially if it's intense and it's taking our breath away. Just giving a few moments to explore on this side of the hand. And when we're ready for ready to be done with that exploration, go ahead and come up. We're just going to join the hands and find this little wave motion back and forth. Release the hands, give them a good shake out. And just one more thing on the knees. I promise we're going to get up here soon. We're going to tuck those toes underneath. I'm going to move my blanket slightly out of the way. So I'm tucking my toes underneath. And this might be just enough to kind of find this little rocking movement, coming up and down, getting a little toe stretch here. I like to take that pinky toe and kind of move it out of the way because it likes to kind of suck in with those other toes. And you're welcome to kind of find this little movement even with the palms down. That might be just enough to get the stretch into the fascia of the foot. Or you're welcome to find this toe squat basically Keeping the toes underneath, bringing the hips down towards the heels. Feel that good expansion across the ball of the foot and that good stretch into the entirety of the foot. Take a few moments here. Create a meditative practice by closing the eyes down. Being curious. How does this feel? What's going on in the body? Typically, we want to do fight or flight, and so it's very often in a posture like this where you want to flight, you want to be done. See if you can just breathe through it for just a few moments. And when we're ready, we'll come out of this, place the hands down onto the earth, find a little paddle out of the feet, maybe roll out the ankles. Just notice an area of the body that we don't stretch enough, how that feels. You can continue to paddle or roll. All right, beautiful. Walking the hands right in front of the shoulders, tuck those toes underneath. Notice how they feel after that stretch. And then we're just going to send the hip bones up towards the sky, coming into our down dog. And we're going to do a little bit of movement here as well. So we're not quite done with those toes just yet. Let's come up onto the balls of the toes, still in that downward facing dog. And then sink the heels down towards the earth. Let's do that again. Roll up onto the balls of the feet. And then sink the heels down to the earth. One more time, and you should feel a really good stretch into the back of the leg, into that Achilles and into that calf, and then lower the heels back down. Now bending the knees, still having the balls of those feet, we're going to shift forward into plank. Bend the knees, send the hips back, come into down dog. So let's do this a few more times, and I really want you to think about rippling through the spine. Bending the knees, rolling forward, plank. Bend the knees, shift back, come into down dog. Moving at your own pace. Rippling through the spine, really feeling into the core. Making sure that we're not crashing into those wrists. We want nice wide fingertips. Let's finish this up one more time and meet again in down dog. Bending the knees, peek forward, take a little stroll all the way to the front of the mat where we meet in forward fold. And once again, we're going to find that little sway we had at the beginning of our practice. Maybe bending into one knee and then the other. Just this gentle little sway back and forth or up and down. And if you have the arms clasped in any way, go ahead and release that. Bending the knees, roll all the way up, very, very slow, coming to standing. When we arrive in standing, just close the eyes and notice this shift of energy. Inhale, fingertips raise up towards the sky. Join palms above the head, bring them into heart. We're just going to trace the entirety of the body, taking those palms all the way down as we bend down, releasing the hands, crossing the arms, coming all the way back up tall. Hands meet again above the head. Trace the line of the body, coming all the way to heart center, and then rolling down into a fold. Releasing the clasp of those hands or the palms together, bring them back up towards the sky, maybe a little back bend this time. And then the palms trace body, and we roll all the way back down. Part the hands, roll back up. And doing this a few more times at your own pace. We're just finding these beautiful forward folds, coming up in a tall mountain, maybe slight back bend, and rolling down. Let's wrap up one more, bring it up tall. Hands come all the way down, melt down. Part the hands and come all the way back up. Releasing the hands down, roll the shoulders out a few times, and then we're just gonna widen our stance slightly. Hands are coming down right alongside the hip area, and then we're just gonna start to find a shake. So just a little shake in the palms. So this is gonna be starting to get a little energy work going. So shaking the palms, and start to march out the feet a little bit. And then make that shake a little bit bigger. Invite it into the entirety of the arms. And you can be silly with this. Close the eyes down and just find a shake of the whole body. Just move, maybe bring your hands up towards the sky, down towards the chest, maybe down towards the legs. Just shake, 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 shake. Shake the entire body, shake the hands, shake the wrists. Just keep moving. And it may feel silly, and that is okay. Shake, 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 shake. Just a few more moments, keep shaking. Finding movement, shake, 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 shake. And then come to stillness. Bring the hands towards the heart. Keep the palms parted from each other. Close the eyes down. Do not lock out the knees. Take a few breaths here. Feel this pranic ball of energy between the palms. Breathing in this life force that you are responsible for creating. Slowly bring the palms together, interlace the fingertips, create a fist here. Send that fist up towards the sky, reach and stretch. Part the hands and melt all the way back down into our forward fold. Halfway lift, flat back, melt to fold. Plant the hands onto the earth, step one foot back, and then the other foot back, coming into our downward facing dog. Take a nice deep inhale in here, and an exhale out. Keeping that left foot planted on the earth, we're gonna bring that right heel up skyward into a three-legged dog. Bend the knee in towards the chest, nose towards the knee, round here, hold for a moment, then extend long. Again, knee comes in towards center, nose towards knee, hold and hover, then extend long. Once more, knee comes into center, hold and hover, and this time step or carry that foot to the front of the mat. So now we're going to place both palms to the inside of that front leg. Walking that foot a little bit wider. This is going to be our standing lizard variation. And we're just going to find a little shift and shimmy and dance here. Coming forward and back. Getting into these hips a little bit more. And when we're ready, we're going to lower that back knee down to the earth. Both palms are still on the inside of that leg. We're going to walk that foot slightly wider if you would like, or turn the foot out, but make sure that knee is staying stacked over the ankle. Bringing that right hand to the right knee. Let's press that knee open and then shift back a little bit, coming into kind of a, I don't really know what to call this as much as just almost like a lunge with the leg out to the side. So we're going to inhale, come forward, press that knee open, twist. Exhale, shift back, keeping that knee wide. Again, inhale, looking over that front shoulder. Exhale, back. Inhale forward once more. Place that palm back down onto the earth. And then we're just gonna walk the hands just to the comfortable edge of the stretch away from that knee. Hold here for a moment. Then walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Heel toe that foot in towards center. Tuck back toe underneath. Raise the knee up off of the earth. Step that foot up to meet front foot. Forward fold. Halfway lift, flat back. And melt to fold. Bend the knees, cross the arms, come all the way back up, tall mountain. And then palms come back into heart center. So we're going to do those folds again here, where we inhale, palms come up. Exhale, got it a little backwards here. Exhale, bring hands, tracing the body all the way down, coming into a fold. Part the hands, bend the knees, come back up tall. Hands meet. Draw all the way down the center of the body, melt down. Release the palms, come back up. And one more time, place your hands together, melt all the way back down into our fold. Plant the hands onto the earth and step back again into our down dog. This time, that right foot's going to stay down and that left heel is going to raise up skyward, three-legged dog. Knee comes in towards center, nose towards knee. Extend long. Again, knee comes in towards center, round, extend long. One more time, knee comes in towards center, round and hover. Then step or carry that foot to the front of the mat. Both hands are going to come inside of that leg. Maybe walk that foot. I like to keep my big toe on the mat and those three toes off. And we can just find that little back and forth in the standing lizard variation. And just checking and exploring. And when we're ready, we'll go ahead and bring that back leg down to the earth. You can walk that foot a little bit wider or just keep it exactly where it is. Left hand is going to come on top of that thigh. We're going to press it open a little bit more into a twist. And then just slowly sink the hips back, come into this little fold. Inhale, twisting open. Exhale, back. Again, inhale, twisting open. Exhale, roll back. Do that one more time. Opening here and rolling back. Coming back to center, release that palm back down onto the earth, and we're just going to walk the hands away from that bent knee. Keep the breath fluid. Do not need to go super far, just enough where you feel this really good sensation of the stretch. Walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Heel toe that foot so that is lining back underneath. Tuck back toe underneath. Knee raises up off of the earth. Step that foot forward. Then we meet in forward fold. Halfway lift, flat back. Bend the knees to fold. Press into the feet and bring the arms all the way up, tall mountain. And then palms gently come into heart center. Pause for just a moment here and notice how the hips are feeling. We're going to come into a warrior two with that right foot forward. So right foot forward, left foot is stepping back. We can take a nice wide stance here, bending into that front knee, lining the arch or that heel up with that front heel. Arms come out into that T shape. And once again, we're going to find that little dance here, just like we did in our kneeling warrior. So we can be shifting back into reverse triangle or coming forward into extended side angle. Just want you to take time to listen to what your body is asking and craving. A lot of times we have this little checklist in our yoga practice. But we just want to be curious and explore and see how this movement, how this dance is, just when we just allow ourselves to play. And when we're ready, come back again into that warrior two. Hold the arms out into this nice wide T. Then bring the hands to the hip line. We're going to turn the toes so that they're to the wide edge of the mat. So keeping this wide stance for just a moment, we're going to come a little bit more working into our hip area by turning both toes now to the short edge. So we're in this wide stance still, and we're just going to bring the hands down to the tops of the thighs and start to shift back and forth here. So just a little sideways in our goddess squat, but we're keeping hands down onto the tops of the thighs, and we're shifting back and forth. So as far as knees go, we can't really stretch a knee, but we can work on strengthening and stretching the muscles around the knee. So these are really good with these side bends, or these side lunges, and goddess poses. All right, so we're going to start to get a little bit deeper, but I'm going to offer this variation where you can just stay here and just continue to work side to side. And you can always shorten that stance if this is feeling too intense. So you can stay here, or you can turn one toe back towards that long edge and keeping one toe towards the short edge. I'm going to start on my right side and lean down into the side lunge. Raise back up and lower. Now you can continue to just kind of feel into this or hold, or you can bring the hands down to earth or block into our skandasana. Just like in our gate pose, we can turn the toe up on that other side towards the sky, and we don't have to be down this low. We can stay right here, hovering above. Take a few breaths wherever you're at. And then we're just going to slowly shift to that other side. So if you are down that low, go ahead and turn the toe and shift to the other side. Once again, you can just stay high here and just kind of feel into this. Or you can come down low, turning that back foot. So now my right foot's turning up towards the sky. And then take your time to come all the way around to center. Turn those big toes towards each other, heels out, and melt down into our wide-legged forward fold. And in this wide-legged forward fold, we're going to once again find a little fun here. That fun could be walking the hands back, melting head down. That fun can be finding a twist. Or we can just stay in that fold and take several restorative breaths. Spending just a few more moments in this shape. And when we're ready, bring the hands to the tops of the thighs, tuck that tailbone down, round all the way up to standing. And then we're just going to turn that foot out to come to our warrior two on that other side. So now I'm facing towards my left foot, and I'm going to find that dance here in my warrior. Exploring once again, getting this nice hip opener. Adding arms where I see fit. Just have fun with this. You intuitively know what feels good in your body, so listen to those cues and move in ways that are right for you. Be curious. Maybe you try something you've never tried before. Maybe you try a twist somewhere. Maybe you go a little bit deeper into a triangle. There's no right or wrong way. And when we're ready, we once again come into that warrior two. Hold here for just a moment. Check in with all of that great alignment. Release the hands to the hips. Let's pivot on that back toe. We're going to step that toe to meet the front foot. And then just do a little shake out here of the feet. Noticing how we're feeling compared to when we began. Inhale, hands float up skyward. Exhale, swan dive all the way back down into our fold. Halfway lift, flat back, and then melt to fold. Placing the hands onto earth, let's step back once again into our downward facing dog. Let's roll forward to plank, lower the knees down to the earth, and then lower the chest down to the earth. We're going to take those elbows right underneath the palms and coming into our Sphinx pose. So if you feel any tension in that lower back, go ahead and part the legs a little bit wider. We're pressing the tops of the feet down. We're broadening across the chest, opening here, but not tossing the head back. Take another breath into this generous back bend. Inhaling in. Exhale, release the chin down towards the chest, but keep those shoulders rolled back. We're just going to gently bring that chin over to the right shoulder, gaze back. Release the chin down towards the chest. And take a peek over that opposite shoulder, gazing back towards the heel. Releasing the chin back down towards the chest. Keep the chin down, keep those shoulders rolled back. Take another moment to breathe here. Now we're going to take the hands and create a little pillow with that right hand. So I'm bringing that right hand into a 90-degree angle. And then I'm going to take that left hand back, clasp a hold of the foot, or if you just want to take a hold of the ankle or even your pants are always an option. And we're just bringing that heel in towards the glute. Getting this nice deep stretch into the front of that thigh. Making sure that we're not tweaking or turning the knee out to the side. Take several deep breaths. Now without slingshotting, just release that foot down. Bring that arm around to the front. Just shimmy those hips out a little bit side to side before we go to that other side. So now we're crossing now, bringing that right arm, that left hand in front, creating that space where I can rest my forehead on the forearm, and then drawing that left heel in towards the glute, taking a hold of whatever is accessible here. And just squeeze that heel towards the glute. You can always get a little bit deeper into the front of that leg by pressing the foot into the hand if you have a hold of the foot. Feel the rise and the fall of the belly against the mat as you breathe deep. Go ahead and release that foot down, bringing that arm around, just shake the hips a little bit side to side. then we're just going to flip over to our back side now. So however you'd like to get there, just turning so that we are on our back now. And once we arrive here, go ahead and send those feet up towards the sky. Zip the legs together so they're really together. If you would like, you could always use that blanket underneath the hips, or you can kind of shimmy the hands so that palms are facing down, so they're right along the sacrum area if you need a little extra comfort here. So feet are flexing towards the face, and we're just going to draw some great big circles in one direction. Keep those legs zipped together as we bring those legs all the way around and back to center. Breathing. Start to make those circles a little bit smaller. A little bit smaller. And then hold and center. Now we're going to reverse the circle in the opposite direction. So starting with that wide circle, still keeping the legs zipped together. Bring those legs, come a little backwards here. Bringing them all the way around. Working into that core. Should feel this in the legs. Keep moving, keep breathing. Start to make the circles slightly smaller. Smaller still. And then find some stillness. If you have the palms underneath, go ahead and release them and draw those knees into the chest. Take a few moments here, squeezing knees in. And then we're going to keep the hands on the knees, just part the knees, and we're going to make some big circles with the knees bent now. So taking those circles out to the side, again, and back in. Let's reverse that circle in the other direction. Still using those hands on the tops of the knees as leverage. And then when we're ready, go ahead and squeeze those knees into chest. Release the soles of the feet down to the earth. So we're going to do a twist here with just a little twist. So we're working into the obliques, and then we're going to enjoy our Shavasana. So place the palms down onto the earth, pick the hips up, and then shift them over to the right side. Knees waterfall over to the left. And we're going to stack those knees together. Take the arms out into a T or a cactus shape. And then let's turn the heels up towards the sky. So it's a little bit deeper getting into the obliques here. Keeping the feet glued together, heels are lifted up. And right away, you might want to hold your breath to see if you can breathe through this. So knees are down on the earth, heels are raised. Lower the heels down onto the earth and just relax here for a few moments in this twist. Support the body to come back around to center. Center the hips for just a moment. Using the feet to raise those hips up, take them over to that left side now, and then knees come over to the right. Or a little bit of a twist here. Bring the heels up off of the earth. So knees are down on the earth, heels are raised. Keep breathing. Then release the heels down and just enjoy this twist for a few breaths. Use that core once more to come back around to center. Center the hips onto the mat. Draw knees into the chest and give them another squeeze. If it feels okay for the neck, bring the forehead up towards the knees. Stay in this little ball for just a few moments. And then release. Let everything go and find a shavasana of your choice. Taking these last few moments to really soak up all the magic from your practice. Just noticing how the body feels compared to when we began. See if you can melt down just a little bit more. Releasing all tension from the face. Deepening the breath even more. Start to very slowly nod the head side to side. Rolling out the back of the skull against the mat. Now invite some movement back in the body of rolling wrists and ankles, wiggling fingertips and toes. Extending hands overhead, stretch the toes towards the base of the mat, reach. Keeping that right hand extended over the head, go ahead and bring the feet up to the earth, bend over to the knees, over to the right side, and just come on over onto that right hip, using that right hand to support the head and that left hand to support the body. Take several deep breaths in our fetal position. Maybe asking yourself here, what are some things that you can be curious about off of the mat? Use that arm to support the body as you press yourself back up to seated. And when we arrive in seated, go ahead and bring those palms back together. An Anjali Mudra at the heart. Let's close our practice today with one Om. You are welcome to join in or just let the vibration wash over you. So go ahead and exhale all the air out. Then we'll inhale for Om. Inhale. Om. Thank you so much for joining me and sharing your practice and your curiosity in this flow. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Namaste.